Hey, Wizards fans, welcome to the latest episode of the Off the Bench podcast presented by the 𝗙𝗢𝗪𝗏 Group. I'm Chris Miller with special guest Delon Wright, and we are in Utah, so it's kind of weird how this schedule all worked out. Did you plan it this way, by the way?
No, I didn't.
You're going to make a homecoming here where you play college ball, do the podcast. We'll get to that in a moment. On a serious note, how hard has it been for you to sit here and watch, missing so much time with the hamstring?
At first it was, it was cool I wouldn't say cool, but I know I kind of got away from the game and it's kind of just good to sit back and see everything that was going on. And then as I started to get closer, as I am getting closer back to playing, it's been real tough to, not want to get out there and, compete with the team.
So I was looking this up, and the last time you played was October 25th against the Pistons.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, man, that was like 4 games into the season. But, Wizards fans, did you know Delon Wright had 11 steals in the first 4 games? I mean, people get arrested for stealing that much in a short amount of time. But did you notice the kind of impact you were actually having with the team early in the year?
Definitely. I just felt like it was a carryover from last year. The way I ended it with the Hawks, I started to pick up momentum towards the end of the year with my defense, and so all summer, I was planning on having that same impact with the Wizards team. So, it was just a carryover from that, and it was working until I got hurt.
It wasn't just kind of the steals; it was kind of the way you were actually impacting. As soon as you came into the game would change. It's something that I noticed, and I'm sure you probably noticed it too, but was it more than just defense? What were you doing early in the year that was making such an impact?
I feel like it was just energy, the energy I was bringing, just picking up guys full court, getting deflections, just being disruptive, and offensively just playing within my game and just trying to get offensive rebounds, extra possessions, like just doing the little things, honestly. Things I've been doing my whole career. I just put an emphasis on it to try to make a, early impression on this team. So I just feel like that was all the combination of things I was trying to do.
What's the hardest part of rehab? Obviously, you're injured, so it hurts, right? But the mental part of it, what was maybe the lowest point you were at?
Mentally, for sure, is probably the hardest. This is probably the worst rehab I went through, and this is the second one I've, been out of extended time. Just the pain that, when I hurt the hamstring, like them doing a physical rehab, digging into my hamstring and just, trying to, make sure everything's all right. Like little things like that was probably the worst part.
I was talking to a buddy of mine when you first did it, and like we looked at the replay. I did not think it was a hamstring. I thought you tore your ACL the way your knee buckled.
Yeah, I felt that too.
Did you? So which one was it, the hamstring and then the knee? Were you thinking at that point like, oh, geez, did I just hurt both legs?
No, but after I was fortunate that I didn't hurt my knee because I know when I felt my hamstring, I tried to slow down a little bit, and then I feel like I planted in my knee, like I felt it like buckle a little bit, so I could have hurt both at once, but luckily I was only my hamstring.
So you talked about like how hard it is to kind of just sit and watch, but there has to be some type of educational part of this too, where you're sitting there and observing the team. What have you noticed about the game in general, how you could help when you get back, and what were some of the deficiencies you saw with the team?
Just being consistent, bring energy every day. I feel like it's times in the game where, I feel like we can, take better shots or do more little things like boxing out. I feel like we give up a lot of offensive rebounds just by not doing a little things. So I feel like that's something that I know I can help at, and just having me out there, just causing, chaos. I feel like it's going to help us a lot, and I feel like we missed that.
There was a revelation while you were out. One guy in particular was Jordan Goodwin.
Mm-hmm.
What's it like for a veteran to see a young player that kind of like got it out of the mud, was in the G League, and then he gets here, and he makes an immediate impact really on kind of both ends of the floor?
Yeah, no, it was crazy to see. I don't think I've ever seen that, from my perspective, for somebody on the same team as me, somebody that nobody would have ever thought, besides people on his team, that would have had this impact. And he was doing a lot. He is still doing a lot of things that they were missing from me, and he was able to come in and get steals, bring energy, play hard. So I feel like we needed that fresh energy, and when I get back, we're gonna both be able to play together. Me, Monte, all of us gonna be able to play together, and just try to make up some games.
Those are great problems for a coaching staff to have.
Oh,
right?
definitely. I bet you Wes is probably like, that's one of the best problems he's gonna have this year.
So the guys have kind of been in and out of the lineup. They go through this losing streak of 10. Thankfully, it got snapped in Phoenix. I just want to go to the fourth quarter of that game in Phoenix, where I think you guys were down 10 with 3.5 to go, and then they make this comeback. From your perspective, what did you see on the floor, and why were the Wizards able to win that game?
It was crazy because when we went up 17 and then they came back, I think they had 10-point lead, like you just said. I was still saying we're gonna win this game. I just felt like we were gonna find some type of play that was gonna change the momentum. And I felt like, from my perspective, it was Brad. Brad started to turn into himself. He had a lot of timely jumpers, and he was just being forceful going downhill. He made some, I don't want to say lucky, but some lucky. I said lucky. Some of the when he was being aggressive going to the basket, he threw up I think 2 and 1s, and I was like, oh yeah, this is. Normally
you kind of knew it was your night when that.
That was our night. That's the best way I'm trying to put it. I knew when those 2 went in, I was like, oh yeah, we're gonna come back and find a way to win this game.
So what do you think happens when you do come back? What does this team look like at their whole? Because they haven't even been whole all year long.
Yeah, we haven't been.
What does it look like to you?
I think we're a really good team. Just looking at the roster and the pieces that go together, I feel like once we're whole, everybody's gonna just be able to play their role. People are not gonna be asked to do things outside of their role, which was kind of happening when a lot of us are out. Some guys are trying to just do other things and find other ways to win. So I just feel like roles are gonna fall into place.
We're here in Utah, a place where you're familiar with, going to school here. I want to ask you, what does it mean to kind of come back to Salt Lake City?
Means a lot. I always try to come back in the summer with 𝗙𝗢𝗟𝗟𝗢𝗪. We always try to find at least one weekend to come back, and I've been coming back for the past 8 years. So I just always try to show my love and appreciation for Salt Lake City because, if I didn't come here, I don't think I would probably been in the league. Just, the way that they treated me here and the way I was able to step into a role on a college team and, just impact the university.
I'm curious to know about kind of the recruitment period for a guy like you from California. What convinced you to come here?
So first and foremost, I always give a shout out to my guy 𝗙𝗢𝗙𝗎𝗪𝗓. He's coaching with the Lakers right now. So he was a senior, and he was I was starting to blow up in junior college. I was starting to get recruited by a lot of schools, and Utah was 5-25 at the time. And he had called me and just asked me would I consider getting recruited by Utah. And at first I was not really interested, but then I was just looking at the opportunity, and I told them, yeah, give them my number and we can talk. And they were probably the most aggressive recruiters. So I took appreciation for that, and I realized the opportunity if I did come here, and it worked out when nobody thought it would.
What are some of your fondest memories of being here, either as on the court or off?
On the court, we went to the Sweet 16, which was my last game here. And off the court, just the family type environment that's that they create here. And I feel like most of my teammates, we still all are in contact with each other.
Basketball is it's kind of a weird place to be in because you just never know when you're going to meet somebody and then see them down the road again. Did you ever think that you and Kuz would be teammates again in the pros?
No, definitely not. Didn't think so. Especially when he was on the Lakers, I didn't see myself going to play for the Lakers. And then
why?
I just never wanted to go play at home. And then once he got to the Wizards, I knew it was a possibility because I felt like over the years, after John Wall was never, maybe Spencer last year a little bit, but I feel like y'all never had a point guard that was going to be here long term. So I just felt like that was always going to be an opportunity for me to, if they didn't get one.
I don't even know if I even asked you this when we first met. Who called who when it was kind of official that you two guys would be teammates?
I
Who
told
reached out?
him. I reached out once I talked to Tommy on the phone. Tommy and Wes. I told him first my decision, and I think he was surprised because Monte had got traded here 1st. He probably thought I wouldn't consider coming here now, but I still felt like it was a good opportunity for me here, and so I called him. He was kind of shocked. So I called him first.
Because those two are,
Yeah, they grew up together.
childhood friends, and
Definitely.
they've got that weird thing that childhood friends do where they start a sentence and end it.
Yeah, that's Flint, the Flint and them.
Yeah. What about you? Do you and Kuz have any of those secrecies? There's things that are a little
Secrecies.
weird that only friends do.
Not really. Nah.
Did
not
you
really.
tell me before that he actually stole your fashion in
I
college?
didn't say he stole it. I said
Borrowed it?
I said I like kickstarted his fashion.
You're responsible for this.
I kickstarted it. He took it to the next level that I wouldn't be able to take it to.
Is
And
there
with my
anything
personal-
he's worn last year or this year where you've gone too far?
Going too far. I think he wore some like open-toe sandals to the game this year. Like, me personally, I couldn't do that, but he's at a point in the fashion world where he can, pretty much wear anything.
I do have to tell you though, the one that I look at and I go, you know what? I felt that vibe was when we were in Toronto last year and he wore that hat. You know, the big, what was that hat? That's not a cowboy hat. What was that hat he wore? It was like cream. It was like cream one with the glasses.
I missed that. I missed that.
Pretty cool. I'll Google it for you.
Yeah, I missed that one.
For you later. It was pretty good. For you, fashion. How would you describe your fits?
I think I dress, pretty LA.
Okay,
Rocky-
wait. Before you, can you answer me this one question? Because I
Uh-huh.
saw this while we were in LA. I saw 3 guys, 2 at the Clippers, 1 at the Laker game, that wore suits with Chuck Taylors with no socks. Can you just explain that to me?
They wear suits with Chuck Taylor and no socks.
Chuck Taylors,
Yeah,
no socks.
that's something I would do. I'm not a sock person. Like I wear a lot of no socks with my shoes.
Why?
I don't know. I'm really just not a sock person, to be honest.
You're not a fan of socks?
Yeah, I like to wear like jeans where show a little ankles. That's I like that. I like that look.
This podcast could really go down to a rabbit hole. I'll just go back to basketball. At the end of the day, when you think about your journey in the NBA, what do you want to be known for?
What do I want to be known for? I don't know. That's a good question. I never really thought about that. It really just depends on how I can end my career. I feel like I have which is crazy because I'm in my 8th year, but I feel like I have a lot left to show. It's been hard because I've been bouncing around on different teams and trying to fit in. But I feel like, deep down inside, I feel like I have another level to go to, like more to show. So I feel like just being able to show that at the end of my career, I think I'll be happy when my career's over.
I always wondered that. What's it like to get traded, go to a different city, try to, like for kids that moved around a lot when they were
Yeah.
little, it's always that, how do I fit in with the class?
Right.
But for a guy that's been traded, like how do you fit into a new group, either in the beginning of the year or getting traded during the season? What's that like?
So I'll just say this. When I first get traded to a team, they kind of tell me what they like about me and stuff. So I'll try to fit that mold, to make them, prove that they made the right decision. And then as you get more comfortable on that team, then that's when you show, more of what you can do. So I just feel like I've just been getting caught with fitting that mold of what I do and just being a defender and stuff like that. And as I get more comfortable, then my game just kind of evolves.
My last question is one where I like to ask professional athletes now about what they would do in today's collegiate, this new NIL stuff and the transfer portal.
Yeah.
What do you think about it as being a professional, and then put Delon Wright in that situation right now as a kid making the decision to go to college and using his marketing and trying to find the right fit in school? Give me both thought processes on that. First, as a pro right now, how do you see it?
So how do I see myself? Like,
How do you see it like right now, just looking at what NIL and transfer portal has kind of done to college?
yeah, I honestly never thought it would get to this, where kids are able to make money off of their image and stuff like that. So I think it's good because guys don't have to rush to the NBA. So me personally, I feel like financially, obviously my brother was in the NBA, so that wouldn't have been a decision, for me to try to go to a school where I could get the most money out of my image. It was always going to be, I've got to get to the NBA to make money. Like, so that would have been my decision on that. And yeah, I feel like if I was playing in today's day, I would have been 10 times better, just knowing what I know. Which is crazy because I was one of the best players, but I feel like I would have took it to the next level.
And with that, your time is appreciated, sir.
Appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it.